We don't talk about it publicly, but deep down, every man and woman faces it. Lust, the pull of desire, the temptation that doesn't knock, it storms in. You're not alone in this battle. It's an ancient war, and even prophets, monks, kings, and sages have fought it. Let's break the silence. Controlling lust isn't about shame, it's about power. About reclaiming control of your mind, your body, your soul. Think of lust as a fire. In small doses, it keeps you warm. Unchecked, it will burn your life down. There's a timeless message that says, when you let lust run wild, you start treating sacred things like they're disposable. And when that happens, it's not just your peace that suffers, but your relationships, your clarity, your focus. This isn't about suppressing your humanity. It's about mastering it. Because if you don't control lust, it will control you. And when it does, it turns love into addiction, connection into consumption. What lust really is not love. Lust is not beauty. Lust is not desire for a future. It's desire for a moment. It's dopamine without depth. It's a fantasy that ends in emptiness. You might think, I'm just being human. But here's the thing. Being human also means having the power to choose. Neuroscience tells us that lust activates the reward system of the brain, the same place cocaine hits. You're not chasing beauty. You're chasing a chemical high. And like all highs, it crashes. Ancient wisdom calls lust one of the gates. The hidden cost of lust. Every time you give in to lust, mindlessly, you pay a price. Energy, focus, confidence, all slowly stolen. And you might not feel it after one click, one scroll, one night, but it accumulates like a leak in your soul. The man who can't look a woman in the eye without imagining her naked loses his ability to connect. The woman who uses lust to get attention starts to feel invisible when she's not seen as sexual. It becomes a prison. Let's be clear. Sexuality is not evil, but lust that takes over your mind, that's a form of slavery. You were made for more than lust. You were made for love. With soul, with honor, with legacy. How to fight back? Here's where the war turns. Step 1. Awareness. Call lust what it is. Don't romanticize it. Step 2. Guard your inputs. What you see, you imagine. What you imagine, you desire. What you desire, you pursue, unfollow, block, exit. This isn't fear, this is discipline. Step 3. Train your energy. Sexual energy is creative energy. Redirect it. Hit the gym, start a business, serve your family, learn a skill. Build something that lasts longer than a climax. Step 4. Spiritual power. This war is bigger than you. Call on a power beyond you. Pray, meditate, reflect. Let humility shape you. Let silence rebuild you. Because no man or woman wins this alone. Step 5. Accountability. Tell a brother, confide in a sister, not in weakness, in wisdom. When we hide lust, it grows. When we expose it, it shrinks. Lust versus love. Know the difference? Lust is fast. Love is patient. Lust takes. Love gives. Lust hides. Love reveals. Lust weakens. And here's the truth. You can't feel both at the same time. Because where lust rules, love cannot. You don't need to kill desire. You need to purify it. When you control lust, you reclaim your future. You see people, not as objects, but as souls. And the irony? The less you chase lust, the more peace you find, the more respect you build, and one day, the deeper your love will be. You were born with fire inside you, but fire can burn, or it can light the world. The modern trap? We live in a world where lust is no longer hidden. It's promoted, it's in the ads, it's in the music, it's in your pocket. Scroll for 5 minutes, and you're bombarded with perfect bodies, seductive poses, and the illusion of instant connection. This isn't accidental. This is design. Big industries profit off your cravings. They don't care about your peace. They want your attention, and lust is the fastest way to get it. The modern trap isn't just about porn. It's about the slow rewiring of your brain. It's about how you start viewing people, how your attention span shortens, how your sense of intimacy gets hijacked. They want you numb, passive, distracted, but you weren't made to be controlled like that. You were made to see clearly, to choose powerfully, to love deeply. Every time you resist the scroll, every time you choose discipline over dopamine, you win back a piece of your mind. And those small wins, they build the real you. What happens when you win? Let's paint the other side. Let's imagine what happens when you control lust. Not just once, but consistently. You stop flinching when beauty walks in the room. You speak with calm confidence. You walk with purpose instead of impulse. Your focus returns. Your creativity sharpens. Your inner world becomes quieter, more grounded. You connect with people more authentically. You attract with energy, not just appearance. And when real love comes, you'll recognize it. Because you'll no longer be chasing shadows. You'll be walking in light. The final question: this war isn't against the body, it's against blindness. The real question is, will you master desire? Or will it master you? Learn this. Teach this. This isn't just your fight. It's the fight of every soul trying to walk in truth. Choose power. Choose purity. Choose love. The world doesn't need more lust. It needs more light. And that begins with you. They said you're weak, that you lack discipline, that lust controls you. But what if you were never taught the truth? What if it wasn't weakness, but programming? Because from the moment you were born, your mind has been hijacked. Not with violence, but with subtlety. Every ad, every song, every scroll down your feed whispered the same message. You're just an animal. Your urges define you. Chase pleasure, or you'll miss life. No one told you that your mind was plastic. Not like a toy, but like malleable clay, shaped by repetition, by images, by silence. You didn't choose this addiction. It was planted. And here, that's the problem. When a man believes his worth is tied to how often he satisfies his lust, he becomes a slave wearing the mask of freedom. So let's be clear. Lust isn't just about sex. Lust is about grabbing. Even when it's not time, not yours, not real. It's the hunger to possess, without patience. That's why it destroys your mind. It erodes your ability to wait, to see, to think. It turns kings into beggars and priests into predators. You weren't born like this. You were trained. So, how do you untrain a mind? Not by shame, not by guilt. That's what the trap wants. For you to fight the fire by pouring more fuel. You kill lust by doing the opposite of what it wants. You see it without judgment. You stop running and observe it, like a scientist, like a monk. When the thought comes, the fantasy, the craving, you don't shout at it. You don't obey it either. You just watch it. You realize, that's not me. That's just a reflex. And every time you do this, you reclaim power. You reclaim presence. Because lust only has power in the dark. It thrives in silence, in secrecy, in speed. But when you pause, when you watch, you tear away its mask, you discover something strange. The lust wasn't about sex. It was about escape. Escape from boredom, from pain, from your own unhealed wounds. Now you see the truth. Your fight isn't just physical, it's spiritual. In moments of silence, lust creeps in, not because you're broken, but because you're hungry for meaning. And no image on a screen, no memory from your past, no temporary thrill can fill the hole meant for purpose. That's why some of the most lustful people are the most purposeless. When a man loses purpose, he clings to pleasure. But when a man walks with purpose, pleasure becomes a bonus, not a burden. So the real enemy isn't the lust. It's the emptiness underneath it. And the cure isn't punishment. It's alignment. Align with the man you're meant to be, not the man society shaped you into. Once you align, something powerful happens. You don't suppress lust, you sublimate it. You take the same energy, and you transmute it into ambition, into prayer, into discipline, into art, into presence, into magnetism. That's how warriors are born. That's how prophets survive the storm of temptation, not by avoiding it, but by transforming it. A spark can burn your house down, or it can light the path. It depends on who holds the fire. Some might say, but I've tried. I always fall. Of course you do. You're walking in a war zone with no armor. Every day, your eyes are ambushed. Your time is stolen. Your thoughts are hijacked by billions of dollars of algorithms. So stop blaming yourself for the failure. Start preparing yourself for the battle. This war isn't fought by running away from the screen. It's won by building a life that makes the screen irrelevant. When your mind is full of purpose, lust has no room to live. And the truth is, the most powerful men in history, the poets, prophets, warriors, they didn't conquer lust by willpower alone. They did it by submission, not to their cravings, but to something higher, to principle, to mission, to God. They realized lust isn't evil because it's physical. It's evil because it blinds you from the divine. It makes you forget who you are. And every time you indulge without awareness, you trade soul for seconds of stimulation. But when you remember, even once, that your body is sacred, you begin to walk different. You speak different. You see people not as objects, but as reflections. Because the real victory is this: to feel the craving rise and still choose patience. To hear the voice of temptation whisper and still answer with silence. To look at the flame and still walk through it without burning. That's not suppression. That's freedom. And it begins with this one truth: you are not broken. You are awakening. The fire was never the enemy. It was the teacher. Now ask yourself, when will I stop running and start listening to what the craving is really trying to tell me? So how do we start building new mental roads? Simple, not easy, but simple. Step 1, disrupt the pattern. Whenever lust hits, change your posture, change your setting. Stand up, breathe deeply, say something out loud. It's called a pattern interrupt. Because most lust doesn't happen in a decision, it happens in a trance. You're not thinking clearly, you're reacting. Break the trance, reclaim your state. Step 2, replace, don't erase. You can't just not think about lust. The brain hates emptiness. If you don't give it something better, it will return to what it knows. So when lust rises, give it mission. Do 25 push-ups, read 1 page, write 1 thought, make 1 cold call. Use your energy to build instead of drain. That's how kings are made. They don't kill desire, they channel it. Step 3, The 3-day rule. This one's powerful. Whenever you feel an urge, say to yourself, I'm not saying never, I'm just saying, not for 3 days. Lust tricks you by making you believe, I need this now. But if you pause, if you delay, the craving fades. Most urges die in silence. They only survive when you feed them quickly. You delay, you weaken them. You delay longer, you kill them. And every time you delay, you teach your brain, I'm not a puppet, I'm the master now. But here's where things go deeper. Your brain also learns through emotion. That means if you only avoid less logically, but still feel depressed, bored, or empty, you'll return to it. Why? Because the brain is chasing pleasure to avoid pain. So if you want to beat lust long term, you have to increase the pleasure of purity. Celebrate your clean days. Reward your moments of discipline. Tell yourself, this is power. This is real. Over time, the brain it stops linking lust with happiness and starts linking purpose with happiness. That's the secret. You don't just stop lust by resisting it. You stop lust by replacing the emotional payoff. This is why spiritual discipline matters, because the greatest pleasure isn't found in a body, it's found in alignment. When your actions match your soul, you feel peace that no screen, no person, no night can give. When you walk in integrity, your brain releases a different kind of dopamine, not from stimulation, but from fulfillment. That's the kind of high that doesn't leave you empty. That's the kind of pleasure that builds legacies. And now, let's talk to the men. Men, you've been lied to. You were told that masculinity is about how many women you conquer. But the truth is, a real man conquers himself. Not because he's weak, but because he knows his energy is sacred. And if he leaks it everywhere, he weakens his presence, his aura, his discipline. But when he guards it, he becomes magnetic, sharp, respected, not just for his body, but for his control. And that control, it's what makes kings kings. So here's the question. What if your lust isn't a problem? What if it's just untapped power? What if every craving, every temptation, every fantasy is actually just raw energy waiting to be Think about it. The same force that builds a nation, that writes books, that trains warriors, that prays with focus, that leads with clarity, that loves with depth. It all starts with a man who controls the fire. And here's the paradox. The more you guard your energy, the more attractive you become, because people feel it. That presence, that control, that discipline. They don't know what it is, but they feel it. Because when a man walks with restraint, he walks with mystery, and mystery draws attention. But when a man walks with lust, he walks with desperation. And desperation, it repels everything real. So if you've failed before, if you've been trapped in cycles of lust, if you've felt like it's too late, let me tell you something simple. It's not too late, because your brain can rebuild, your soul can recharge, and your purpose is waiting on the other side of this battle. But you must choose, not once, but daily, until one day, lust shows up, and you don't even flinch. Not because you're numb, but because you're free. This isn't just about men anymore. Women struggle with lust too, but not always in the same way. Because for many women, lust isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the desire to be wanted, seen, held, pursued. It's the need to feel powerful through attraction. While men might fall for what they see, many women fall for how they're seen. And when society teaches her that her worth is in her body, she learns to dress for attention, but still feels empty inside. Because attention is loud, but connection is quiet. And lust doesn't want quiet, it wants noise. Let's be honest about what we've created. A world where people are starving for love, but binging on lust. We scroll for hours, searching for faces, bodies, perfection, but we ignore the real wound. Loneliness. Behind every lustful fantasy is a longing to be loved without being used. But we don't know how to ask for that. So we perform, we flirt, we pose, we click. And every time we do, we train our minds to trade depth for dopamine. Real people become less exciting than pixels. Long-term love becomes less thrilling than short-term attention. And slowly, we lose the ability to truly bond. This is where the crisis gets deeper. Because now, it's not just about sex, it's about identity. You start defining yourself by your desires. You say, this is just who I am. This is my truth. But when did we start mistaking cravings for character? When did we let the lowest parts of us become our whole name? You're more than your urges. You're more than your fantasies. You're more than your browser history. And deep down, you know it. Because after the thrill fades, all that's left is silence. And in that silence, your soul speaks. It says, this isn't who I want to be. So now we ask the real question. What kind of world are we building? A world where a girl can't post a picture without being a world where a man's value is measured by his body count. A world where kids are addicted to screens that steal their innocence before they even understand love. Lust has become the air we breathe. And no one's questioning the oxygen. But the consequences are real. We're more connected and more isolated. We're more stimulated and more numb. We're more informed and more confused about love. And here's the scary truth. If we don't wake up soon, we will raise a generation that knows everything about sex, but nothing about intimacy. So how do we rebuild How do we reclaim our purity in a world that rewards the opposite? We start by turning inward, not into shame, but into truth. Because truth doesn't condemn you. It calls you higher, and it whispers, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware. When lust rises, pause. When temptation calls, don't answer immediately. When you fall, don't spiral. Because this is a practice, not a prison. You're not cursed, you're conditioned. And anything that was conditioned can be Let's close with something real. This isn't about judgment. This is about awakening. Because the person who sent that risky message, that wasn't you. The one who stayed up at 2 a.m. clicking and scrolling, that wasn't the real you either. That was your loneliness. That was your confusion. That was your craving for something more, being misdirected. But now you know, now you see, and now you choose. So here it is, the final truth. Lust is a shadow, but you are the light. It can't survive when you stand tall. It can't grow when you look it in the eye. And it cannot win unless you let it. So, the next time it whispers, don't run. Just breathe, smile, and say, not today. I've got something better to build. Because your soul is not for sale. Your energy is not free. And your love will not be wasted. Not anymore. Final word, speak to the soul. This isn't just about lust. This is about becoming someone your future self can respect. And now that you've seen the truth, what will you do with it? Will you go back to old patterns? Or will you rewrite your story? Because this fight isn't just for you. It's for your relationships, your focus, your legacy. It's for the man or woman you will become. So take the fire and use it to light the world. The war ends when you choose. And today, you choose power.